Well, big highball and hello to all the model railroaders and rail fans out there, and welcome to April 2024's edition of the Central Division. Hey, if you hear the hoarseness in my voice, you know the pollen is alive and well in Arkansas land, and I would assume probably most other parts of the country. So I'm going to try to keep my voice as we get through the intro here. Otherwise, things are going really well. I've got my caffeine going this morning, as I usually do when I shoot these updates, and today I'm drinking out of my UALR, the University of Arkansas Little Rock mug. Go Trojans. It's where I graduated a few years ago, something like 20 years. It sounds kind of strange saying 20 years, but man, I guess it's been that long. But things have been kind of busy the last few months, so I haven't really had a chance to get you an update. I do have a couple of videos I put out recently, the trains running in my layout, so despite life getting busy, I have found time to run trains and actually work on some structures and work on the layout. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. So we are going to get started. So since the last time we visited, I've been working to finish this Hillside Scene. And I think it was the last episode is where I showed you how I built the radio tower. You see to your right, I put in a couple of blinking LEDs, aircraft warning lights. But I was still kind of just scratching my head, how to complete this. And I thought, well, maybe just even go simple and close it with trees. And I thought, well, I need some kind of structure. So after a little bit of thinking, I thought, every layout should have a good old-fashioned tourist trap. So welcome to the Central Division's Fort Smith, Arkansas Bigfoot Museum, aka tourist trap. Where I got this idea is my wife and I, we have kind of these fun and silly debates. She's really into like the Bigfoot legends and the TV shows and things like that. So we kind of go back and forth on the the Bigfoot legend. I give her a hard time. I say, hey, I think it's just some long-haired hippie dude that just likes living in the woods and wants to be left alone. And she's like, well, no, this is actually some ancient creature that no one's just kind of figured out, the origins and where it comes from and everything. So we have really good fun. So I thought, man, what a perfect structure for the layout to kind of like have fun with this a little bit. So it's like, what better to have than a Bigfoot museum? So this is actually just a wood, laser cut wood cabin. As I'm talking with you here, I cannot think of the brand, but what I'll do is when I put this video together, I'll put the caption down there for you. So that way, if you're interested in the kit, you can go out and take a look at it. The Bigfoot, the footprints, basically what I did is I just found some Bigfoot stencil online. I shrunk it down, took a pencil, was able to kind of trace it out and just paint it very carefully there. And the Bigfoot sign on the roof is basically, it's just water slide decals that I cut very close around the lettering and put on there. And of course, weathered it with weathering powders and things like that. So once the scene is done, of course, I've got like the HO scale Bigfoot that I'm put like on a pedestal, like, have some type of statue. And then I've got like a tourist set. I believe it's Prizer is how you pronounce the brand. People taking, cameras and stuff like that. Because, the tourist trap, you got to have your tourists and everything. And then I'm going to close the area behind it with trees and just below it along the hillside. So you'll have this nice scene that I'll actually share with you once it's done in future updates. Where you'll have the cabin there, you'll have your tourists, the little Bigfoot statue, some parked cars, some trees, and of course you'll have your tower sticking above the trees and everything. So I think it's going to be really nice once it's done. So another area I've been finishing up is around the Arkansas Coffin Company. And I think it was the last layout update that I did. I actually shared with you about putting in this road here and how I did it. And for this area of the layout and with the sidewalks, I found the 2mm foam sheets was a little bit thick. That's what I usually use for road material. So what I did is I just used heavy construction paper, and so the thickness was perfect. But when I was laying it down, I ran out of material, so I didn't quite have enough to finish extending the road out to the edge of the layout. I'm gonna pan the camera around here. And so this basically, I just cut out another section of construction paper, use Mod Podge to glue it down like I did this one, and then lay a real heavy flat weight on it, so that way it's perfectly flat and there's no seams here. So I'm going to paint weather this to kind of match the existing road there. Now, another thing that I've been doing is placing the sidewalk down. This isn't permanent yet. This is basically just getting an idea of where it needs to go, and if I've got enough of the material and everything like this. This is actually, the sidewalk is a laser woodcut a material, and it's basically, the finish is called a stress sidewalk, which basically means the maker put like little chips in it and little cracks and things like that. And I've used this a couple of times, and I really like it. I mean, there's all kind of, you know, ready-made HO scale sidewalks out there. You can certainly make your own, but I really like these, and so I've painted them with a paver gray, and so that's just the first layer. I've actually got to go and weather them using weathering powders and stains and things like that to get them completed. And so what I'll do is, once it's done, I'll share with you kind of the steps that I took to kind of make it into an older sidewalk. And you can see kind of in the corner here, this one has been completed and it's down. And from the color here, how it looks more like kind of an old and stressed concrete. Now, the cool thing is, once I finish this scene, not just the scene, but basically this will complete this one side of the layout. Basically, my layout is 3 sections, each section running against a different wall. And so this will, you know, still have some work to do, but this will, you know, pretty well close everything out once I've got the road finished, the sidewalks, and then, you know, like the different foliage and everything in. And so then I'll be able to go concentrate on the third and last section for now. I've actually considered putting a peninsula in for another industry, but again, that's a future idea, something it may or may not do, you know, tell for a different time. But next update, hopefully I'll have this finished and I'll be able to share with you. So one big change I've decided to make since talking with you last is moving where I have the Fort Smith Biscuit Company. The structure you see here is, I think it's actually the very first finished structure I had on the layout. Is on the first segment. And it's based off of an artist's rendition made in like 1910s, 1920s of the Fort Smith Biscuit Company complex. And that's really the only image, drawing, picture, anything that I had of what the building looked like beyond what I've read in interviews and articles and things like that. I knew the original complex had 2 buildings. It had a skywalk, and it was actually a huge landmark in Fort Smith up until it was torn down the late 1980s. So you'd think there'd be a ton of images out there, but none that I've been able to find, at least online. There could be some up in the Fort Smith area. I just really hadn't had time to research it that deeply. But a few months ago, I came across a postcard somebody was selling on eBay of the complex. It's an artist drawing, a color drawing, and it actually shows what the complex looked like in the mid-50s. So while not as modern as I would have liked it, it at least shows what the complex would have looked like with the 2 buildings and with the sky, you know, the skywalk between the 2 buildings. And so I was like, you know, perfect. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to create something that looked closer to the time period that I'm doing, something closer to the actual building. Now, there was actually a structure here before. Of course, that's been taken off the layout since I've decided to kind of make this change. There is a spur here, and it's powered up, and it was servicing the other structure that I had. But to make this work, I'm going to bring the spur out closer to the edge of the layout. I could do a sharper curve here, but I'm kind of under the school of I'm willing to sacrifice to have nice smooth curves to avoid any problems, even like a switching spur or anything. It looks better, my opinion. But I'm going to bring that out. That's going to run in front of the structures here. And I thought for maybe, a couple of days, like, hey, just leave the original spur in place, bring the building out. But it's like, okay, you know, it's gonna make it hard to switch cars. You can't see the cars, not gonna make any sense. So I think this is gonna look a lot better. Of course, I'm gonna have the piping and outlets and everything on the buildings for the air slide hoppers. That would be normal for my area for the 1970s. Now, this building, I'm going to back up here a little bit. This is obviously got a lot of work left to do to kind of to finish this building up. Right now I've just got it in as a placeholder, but this is actually, it's a modular kit that's owned by, let's see, Woodland Scenics now. And I can't remember the previous company that actually made these, but Woodland Scenics has it now. And it was a pretty easy kit to put together. And a few complaints along the way, but nothing major here. So I'd definitely get another kit like this again. The original structure, I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to keep it or maybe put it back in its original spot, make it another industry, or maybe if I can't find a spot on the layout, maybe sell it. Based on the more modern postcard I had, the building was closer to what you see here versus here. They were 2.5 stories, so a lot shorter, not quite as tall as this one. This is actually an Atlas warehouse kit based off a building in New Jersey. So, but again, whether using this building or a different one, I'm gonna have like the skywalk here, I'm gonna have a street running along this scene here. So I think it's gonna be really good once it's done, but we'll certainly, as we do these updates, we'll let you know and show you how everything is coming along. Well, hey, my voice held out. That's a good thing. And as you see, the progress in the layout continues, slow but sure. So, hey, I appreciate you, tuning in and letting me share my layout with you. And as I always do, every episode, and I really mean this, is a big thank you to the subscribers out there. You're the ones that kind of help keep me moving forward and keep me motivated. And I tell you, it's just a great way to get to know people, get to know model railroaders out there. I get to see what you're doing. We get to bounce information off of each other and things like that. It's a great thing. And really, YouTube has become just a great place where model railroaders can come together and to share this wonderful hobby. It's really become a great community. So again, a big thank you to the subscribers out there. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I certainly invite you to do so. And until next time, highball.